Hey everybody, welcome to Goots' Wrestling Pod. I'm your host, Ray Goots. It's still spooky season. I know it's November, but it's still spooky season. It's still Halloween because we're up to Halloween Havoc 91. So after tonight, Halloween will be over. I'm here with Andrew Lee. Andrew Lee, how you doing?
Yo, I'm doing good, Ray. I'm doing excellent.
You know,
I'm
I want to
really
talk
excited for the name change of this podcast, the TNA podcast, back in starting in
January.
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 Right,
We're
right.
gonna just call it the TNA Pod. Well, although we could. Well, let me tell you, I don't. I don't know what we're gonna be by the time we get to 2002 in this podcast, but I'm still debating because I want to do every pay-per-view. Remember, it was a weekly pay-per-view for 2 years. Sometimes I debate that we should actually review those episodes because they do
Yeah, we
count.
have a long ways to get there, but
Let's see where we are in life.
technically, they are pay-per-views,
So
right?
I'm voting that we do them. Right as of right now, if we were up to 2002, I'd say let's do them. But
Okay.
let's see where we are.
Yeah, exactly. We have like 10 years to go.
Oh yeah, we do.
We have 10 years to go
No,
before.
we have 11 years. Bro.
We have wait. Yeah, 11 years before we make the decision, so it doesn't matter.
And we're about to hit when we hit 96. We have those years are going to take months out of our lives, bro. We're probably going to be in our 50s before we get to 2002.
Probably.
It's like 20. It's like 30 pay-per-views in 97, 98, 99 a year. So it's like that's like a year.
We did about close to 10 years so far. We're just a couple of years shy of 10 years.
But the thing about it is like up before 88, there was like 2 or 3 pay-per-views a year. And 83.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Yeah. And then there is a moment though where WCW goes away technically, so I guess.
Yeah, but that's not there's so much. But before we get into like the current news, I'll just say I this show has a reputation of being like a horrible show. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't dislike it.
Dude, actually, it wasn't terrible. Actually, there are some things in here that I would say is a must watch.
Yeah, but before we get into that,
yeah,
this just goes to show you that like I feel like not a lot of I feel like people didn't actually sit down and watch half these shows because you hear about how great the early Starcades were, and those were atrocious. And then all I've ever heard is how bad this show is. And it was like better than most of the WCW shows. So I just think like people just go like, is like this match, the opening match was put in Russell crap. I feel like people just go by that and then, oh yeah, the whole show was awful. And it's like, no, it wasn't actually. But before we get into that, they just announced today that CW is going to get the rights to the NXT and it'll be broadcast over to the CW. And I guess NWA is out again.
Oh my God, they shouldn't have done the cocaine spot.
They shouldn't have done the cocaine spot. And now it kind of makes sense. If they've been talking to CW for a while, it kind of makes sense why they've been doing like a lot more soap opera stuff on NXT. Because I feel like that's how you're going to pitch it to the CW.
Oh my God, they are moving to the CW. Supposedly there were rumors that Billy Corgan's NWA was moving to the CW, but then they did a pay-per-view a couple of weeks ago. I would say
weeks ago,
where they did where our favorite manager, the fucking Sinister Minister, did a cocaine spot where he was doing like at the stage area doing cocaine with his stable. Really stupid. You think that guy is stupid, right? I'm not the only one who thinks that guy is stupid.
I agree with Eric Bischoff. People Bischoff on the podcast, they Conrad said, why didn't you do more with him in WCW? He's like, I should have done less with him in WCW. He has no
I should have done less with him.
And I agree. I think he is very overrated. He's like Tommy Dreamer. He just sticks around. Nobody cares. I just think he comes across very hokey. Comes across very, very hokey.
I did not like him even in ECW. I don't know why he was. Remember, this is the idiot who like blew up his hand almost. Remember?
Yeah.
In ECW, he had that flamethrower and he like shredded up his own hand. Like I always thought this guy was kind of
There's got to be a backstory. Like he has a connection to the cocaine guy in Miami or something. Yeah. There has to be about why they keep putting him on TV because it's like he never goes away and he's never good.
No, he never goes away.
And now he cost NWA the CW deal. So.
Yeah.
And WWE's picking it up. Also, in AEW news, Collision and Rampage, for that matter, did horrible numbers. Rampage is at 100,000 now for this week, which I actually watched, and I also fell asleep on that one. And Collision, which I did not watch at all, did 300,000. These numbers are abysmal. They are abysmal. There's no way around it. I liked Rampage, but 100,000. SmackDown got 2.1 million people. And the fact that it only takes you only got to do is hit two buttons and you can watch more. Dude, all you got to do is hit two buttons and you can watch more wrestling that night. And
what do you mean? Hit two buttons. Oh, you mean like
go to TNT. Like,
yeah.
Once SmackDown's over, you just switch to TNT. And nobody's doing it. Nobody's watching the show. Those numbers are
2 hours. Maybe people just tap out of wrestling. That's enough wrestling for tonight.
I think so. But also, I think they beat him. I think people did tune over. Like let's keep the night going. But because that's how I used to feel about 205 Live. But nothing's happening on that show. So it's well, let me go do other things in my life. I devoted 2 hours time to wrestling. You know what I mean? Nothing's going to happen on Rampage anyway. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you are somebody who feels like if you want to get some wrestling in on Friday night, but you feel like 2 hours is your limit, you're not gonna. Here's the thing: people who feel that way will tune in if Rampage is a must-watch, if something is happening, but it's not, so they're not tuning in.
You remember when it was a must-watch when they had CM Punk on the show, and who did they chase away? CM Punk.
You know what? The ratings started to dip even when he was there. So
they weren't this bad.
They weren't this bad, but it's not like they were going up or anything either. I just feel like Rampage, it's got a couple of things going against it. It's the time slot and the fact that it's taped. Taped makes people you can just read the results, which a lot of people do.
I thought you meant Collision.
No. Rampage is taped, and I think that hurts it. And it showed because when CM Punk was there, if you notice, the taped episodes ratings were lower because people will go out and read spoilers. If it's live, you can't tell what's going to happen. So you're going to tune in, right?
You know what? I think the big thing that Collision has against it is the pay-per-views. I think even when you have a show like Crown Jewel, which is on at noon and ends way before a Collision, people are wrestling out. They're wrestled out. They're annoyed by what happened with Raw. I mean, I didn't even watch. I was annoyed by Crown Jewel. I didn't even finish Crown Jewel, let alone watch Collision. But I think people get wrestled out from these WWE pay-per-views and they don't want to watch Collision. And I don't blame them because
100% Collision. I think that's what happened. Yeah, we're not even talking 2 hours at this point, right? That's like a 3-hour show, right? The Crown Jewel
4 hour with the pre-show because
4 hours. Mamma mia, man, forget it. Yeah, if you are somebody who can watch Crown Jewel and then stick around and still watch Collision, maybe you should have a wrestling podcast.
Well, we used to do that, but we had the pandemic. I mean, the last time I really did something like that was the Crown Jewel 2 years ago. We did that, then we watched Impact Wrestling that night. So
exactly, and we were doing a podcast. It's
we used to do it.
Watch that much wrestling, you should talk about it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but and I mean, if there was still I wish there was a pandemic. If there was, I feel like I have a personal pandemic because I haven't had a spot in a while. If there was still a pandemic, I would have said to you, let's watch Crown Jewel and then watch Collision and then talk about it later that night. But there was no, there's no reason for us to do that. We do this podcast where we talk about old wrestling. So, I mean, we still have a wrestling podcast on our fucking wrestling podcast. You know what we mean, guys. We used to have a daily wrestling podcast during COVID where we talk about
during the lockdown.
And we had some episodes where we used to watch NWA Power, AEW Dark, and then Impact Wrestling. It was 4 or 5 hours of wrestling, but it gave, we didn't have spots and it gave our lives purpose. I thought.
Did we watch NWA Power or was it Wrestle House? Not Wrestle House. What was it?
It was Wrestletown. I forget.
Carneyland? Was it
Carneyland?
Carneyland. Oh, that was so awful. That was so awful.
Go from Carneyland to Dark to Impact.
Those were the time periods where I actually started questioning how much of my life I had given to wrestling up to that point. Why didn't I enjoy, why didn't I get into football the way I got into pro wrestling?
The worst were Wednesdays because I'd watch NXT live, and then but by the end of Dynamite, it just felt like because neither show was very good at that point. I just felt like I was in a vortex. And the
Yeah,
best night. I'm sorry.
go ahead.
The best
No, no,
night I
go
thought
ahead.
when we did that was Fridays because you'd had SmackDown and 205 Live. I thought were
Yeah, it was like I remember like I was thinking like, man, I used to dream about watching like back when we were growing up, we didn't have actually that's not true. We did. We had
we had.
Nitro, Raw, we had SmackDown, we had Thunder. We actually did have, but I mean like we didn't have as much variety. You know what I'm saying? Like we had now currently back then we only had two companies, WCW and WWF, right? But
Yeah.
now we had AEW, WWF, WW, technically NXT, technically Impact Wrestling, and what do you
NWA.
call it? NWA. So
And
you kind of
MLW.
you kind of get like so
And if you want to be a
much
real dirtbag,
variety.
a GCW.
Yeah, you had so much variety. The only problem was it was a lot of it was so bad, that you started going like, man, like be careful what you wish for because yeah, you might get all as much wrestling as you want, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
So
So
sometimes the less you get, the better it is in a way.
yeah, it's like like I don't really feel. I kind of feel like in 2005 that MJF Kenny Omega match on free TV would have stood out more. I don't really feel like I lost anything by not seeing that match, and I think like if I live to like 80 and I'm on my deathbed, so I can't believe you didn't see Kenny Omega, MJF on Collision. I don't think I'm ever gonna feel like I missed out because there's so much shit happening that like, dude, like there's so many great matches that have happened the last few years that people just forget about. Like they just fucking forget about them. Like remember
Do you,
Dave
do you know,
Meltzer?
do you know that I haven't watched the AEW in probably like an entire quarter?
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking. I haven't watched the Dynamite. I haven't watched the Rampage. I haven't watched the Collision. I haven't even watched the pay-per-views. I didn't watch All In, All Out, or Royal, whatever the heck they were doing, Wrestle Dream. I didn't watch any of that stuff. And here's the thing: I didn't miss anything.
You didn't miss
I
anything.
really didn't.
Nothing has
I really
happened.
didn't. I missed nothing. I know what's going on. I can just read spoilers, but I haven't really missed any like big things.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
You're not
last
missing.
big thing that happened was, in my opinion, I think probably the the press, the all out fucking press conference. I think that's the biggest. That's the last big thing that happened in AEW.
Oh, you talking about the one from a year ago?
Yeah, the one CM
Okay.
Punk did. That's the last big thing if you think about it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they've already like kind of made Edge feel like it doesn't matter anymore. So like, I don't know. I'm just this pay per view looks like it's going to be a big waste of time. Yeah, it's really bad.
Their
But
pay per view coming up next weekend, right? On the
yeah,
18th.
I have spots that night, so I'm not even going to watch it. So
I do think though they have 10,000 tickets sold for that already. So
well, I think it's time. I think they should have Jay White win the belt. I'll say that. I think it's time to if you're gonna have Adam Cole turn, or if you're gonna have someone debut and be the devil, do it on Sunday. If the plan is to have Adam Cole betray MJF, do it Sunday. Don't keep dragging it out. Just end it. Just do it. Move forward.
definitely need to get the belt off of MJF.
I think
100%.
I think yeah, I think Adam Cole, or let's say the other crazy idea people have is CM Punk is the devil. Whoever the devil is has to cost MJF the belt and go from there. I have a feeling though Tony Khan's going to drag this out till March or something until no one gives a shit.
You know who should be the devil? Tony Khan.
No, you know who should be the devil? Stephanie McMahon.
You know who should be the devil? Joey Janela.
You know who should be actually Abdullah the Butcher should be the devil. No one will see that coming.
Oh yeah, nobody would see that coming. Yeah,
It'll be
that
like the twist of twists. All right, that guy's not fun. Okay, so hey, what do you think of my shirt? He's
Look
on
at that.
the show.
Is that the diamond stud?
That's the diamond stud, his Christmas sweater. So
It's
I mean,
Razor Ramon or diamond stud?
it's Razor Ramon. But he's wearing a Christmas. I mean, if you're on the Patreon, all one of you, you can see you can see that it's a Razor Ramon Christmas sweater. We're in the Christmas season, but also he's on this show. And Halloween Havoc 91. Let's get into it. I found it to be a very enjoyable show. So let's break it down.
Yes, Halloween Havoc. An evening of terrifying destruction is the tagline. It takes place on October 27th, 1991 in Chattanooga, Tennessee. 8,900 people are in attendance, so it's not technically the lowest. Starts off with the graveyard graphics, with all the WCW stars as ghosts with creepy music. Of the
Kevin Nash has
stars,
the goofiest face in that video.
yeah, because he's doing the Oz thing with his eyes open like real wide.
Mhm.
You know what was kind of sad is that one of the star ghosts they showed was Elegante, and he's dead. He actually is
Is he
dead.
the only
So
dead guy that's a ghost in the opening credit?
yeah. And I was looking, all the people they did, they're still alive except for him. He died very young, by the way. He died
Yeah.
super young,
Mhm.
before he was 50.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do that. Tony Schiavone and Jim Ross are the commentators, and they welcome us to the show, and they let us know Barry Windham was actually attacked earlier today, and they're going to show you the clip of where you get attacked. And we go, it's like early in the day, it's outside the venue, and Eric Bischoff is there, and he's like waiting for the stars to arrive. And first car that pulls up, it's Cactus Jack and Abdul the Butcher,
Mhm.
who was dressed up like a regular civilized human being, which I thought killed his aura. Right? Didn't you think that killed his aura? Like, why would you fucking come dressed up like in a suit?
Um, I kind of think it makes him like funny more than dangerous. Like he's just like a weird funny guy.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It killed his aura. Like
Well,
he's supposed to
well,
be.
if they were a smarter company, they could have done something with it. Like he could have grabbed the mic and just cut like this really like intelligent promo. Like I was at my stockbroker meeting, but they don't know how to do that. So like it does kill you. But like it would be funny if like when he's not a wrestler, he's like a businessman and like an intellectual. Like he goes and gives lectures about like Ernest Hemingway. But then he's like a madman when he's a wrestler. But they're not smart enough to do that.
No, they're not smart enough to do that. You know what's really funny too is that I hear so many times these people who are like, oh, I'm a wrestling purist and I've been studying wrestling. One of the things they hate about WWF is that like their backstage skits, how everyone's just conveniently there, right?
Mhm.
Like, oh, he's just walking, turns the corner, and like the person that they're looking for is right there. But they fucking did been doing that since day one. WCW in this segment alone, it's just like one car
Everyone's
pulls
pulling
up,
up.
guys come out, right away another car pulls up. It's just, dude, they don't have enough time. That's how they're doing it. Stop criticizing one company for doing it, and everyone else gets a free pass. Like
Mhm.
AEW does it now; they get a free pass, right?
Which
But as
sounds the
soon as
best.
Cactus and Butcher go away, then another car pulls up, and it's DDP and the Diamond Stud. They show up, they walk away. As soon as they leave, Barry Windham and Dustin Rhodes comes up. But as Wyndham is trying to get out of the car, out of the driver's seat, Larry Zabisco and Arn Anderson, they fucking grab his arm and they slam the car door on his arm. And they say that his arm was broken because of this. This is a segment. I always like it when they do this thing where they slam somebody's like limb on the door, like with a
Mhm.
door. Like it looks cool. Visually, it looks good, you know?
So here's the thing. It comes
Yes.
out later on the weekly TV show that what happens with Zabisco and Arn Anderson and Rick Rude is connected because it's Paulie forming a dangerous alliance.
Mm.
Paulie, they don't tell you on the show, but Paulie sent them to do that.
Oh, so was Barry Windham really injured and they just did this to get him out of there?
I don't remember, but this are the pieces falling into place of Paulie trying to take over the company with the dangerous alliance. I don't remember if he was really injured or like they're like, ah, fuck, you'll just take the night off so we can build the dangerous storyline. But yeah, they eventually connect them.
I see.
Mhm.
So we come to the arena and the entrance stage they have it. They set it up like a haunted house backdrop, and they
I
got
liked it.
tombstones everywhere. These You mentioned it before, but man, WCW cannot stop mentioning other sports, even with the fucking tombstone. They got fucking Minnesota Twins references and the Bears references on the fucking tombstone. These guys, they love talking about other sports. They just love
Because
talking about.
they rather be associated with baseball than with WWE. So
Yeah, yeah. And we're gonna go right away to our first match. I couldn't believe this was the first match. I always thought. I mean, I read about this multiple times when I was a kid growing up. I always thought this was the main event. It's not. This is the first match. It's the Chamber of Horrors match. It is 4-on-4 in a basically a steel cage. We got Elegante, Sting, and the Steiner brothers versus Abdul the Butcher, the Diamond Stud, Cactus Jack and Vader. All right. So the purpose of this, it's a steel cage comes down, but it's not like your normal chain link fence kind of steel cage, but it's like big bars. And the opening kind of like closes up, but there's still an opening. And after they fight a bit, there's gonna be a fucking another mini steel cage that's gonna drop down with an electric chair in it.
Mm-hmm.
And your purpose of to win is you're supposed to just electrocute somebody in the chair, basically.
Yes.
Um,
Great times.
but do you know the background for this match? Like, why did this happen? Like, why are they doing this stupid match?
I don't know. I just assumed that Cactus. I don't know. I assumed that Cactus Jack and Abdullah were attacking Sting, so he got his friends together. I don't know.
See, this is where I feel like WWF would have done a video recap of
Yeah.
what led up to these events. We don't.
Also,
get it
I
here.
wasn't. Did they
Yeah.
make it clear who replaced Barry Windham? Because I'm like, who was supposed to who? Because it was obviously it wasn't gonna be 5-on-4, but who replaced? Like, was it Scott Steiner or was it El Gigante? Who I would assume El Gigante replaced Barry Windham, but they didn't make that clear. Who was like?
No, they didn't make it clear. Yeah, these are all the things that like these are like the little intangibles of why I think we always say WWF put them out of business. No, I think
No,
like
yeah, they did it. No, but I mean, we've established on the show that they're doing it just like Tony Khan. They're doing it to themselves. And
yeah, they're doing it to themselves. Like you can't do a little video package for like kind of this is a big match. This is not a one-on-one. You can't
yeah.
do a fucking video package explaining why.
And you have to electrocute.
Why?
You have to
Why do
electrocute
you
the
have to
guy.
kill somebody on this team? Like tell us why, right?
Yeah.
If Barry Windham's out, who's his replacement? Make it clear. Make this shit clear, and it's not. So anyway, everyone comes out one at a time, and then Sting, he's the final entrant. And as soon as he comes out, he starts fighting with Cactus Jack and Abdullah Butcher on the ramp right away. Everyone's fighting. There is no rules to this, okay?
No.
There's no rules. The whole point of this is there's no rules except for you got to kill somebody in an electric chair, the chair of torture, as they're calling it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I'm like, if there's no rules, why the fuck is there even a referee? But there's a referee. There's also two wooden caskets in that steel cage. And there's actually a weird masked goon in one of them. And he comes out and he just starts getting beat up. And I was like, who is this goon? Why is there a goon here? Right? I for a second thought that was another person. Like, oh, is this another person who just like came out? And he was just like a guy in a mask, like a gimp mask, and then he just gets beat up for no reason.
It's a trick-or-treater.
Yeah. The referee, by the way, he's wearing a helmet and he's got what they call the referee. It's a referee camera, the referee. And you could see some of his footage as well. You know what I think I noticed about this right away is we get a shot of Abdullah the Butcher's back, and he is so hairy. It's disgusting. Back.
Yeah, I never realized he had a hairy back until that's horrible. Like he shouldn't have a hairy back.
Yeah, he has like his hairy back is disgusting. And because they did a close up of his hairy back, I started looking at everyone's back. And if you watch this match again, almost everybody except for maybe Cactus Jack has like all these zits and pimples all over their back because they're fucking juicing, right? There's this
dude. I tell you the smartest thing that because they all claim Hulk Hogan created it. I'm so glad like Hulk Hogan. Like, it's just so much more appealing when they have hairless backs. I just think the hairy back makes me question why I watch wrestling. Like it's just thank God.
Wait, Hogan didn't have pimples all over his back
because Hogan took the good shit, brother.
Yeah, he took the good stuff.
Right? He got the real shit. He wasn't WCW's getting from the back of a truck. He had like a personal guy come to him with the good.
Yeah, he got the good shit. Yeah, he got the.
That's why he's still alive too. He's still alive, and they're all dead.
Yeah. No, all these guys are alive. Well,
no, I know, but the guys in the 80s, a lot.
So there's no rules to this match. Everyone's just fighting all at once, and it's stupid. It's just kind of chaotic. There's this funny moment where Rick Steiner he climbs up the cage, and he like looks around, and then he climbs back down. He just climbs up, looks around, and then he climbs back down. So stupid. The Steiners they hit a kind of like a doomsday bulldog on Cactus Jack, and he lands pretty hard. And as he's laying there in the mat, kind of dazed, they start lowering the middle cage with the
Mhm.
fucking electric chair, and it's about to like land on him, and Cactus doesn't realize it. So Rick Steiner just like kicks him really hard on the leg. You see him kick him really hard on the leg, and he looks up and he's like, "Oh shit!" and he just like rolls out. Um, this thing is right in the middle of the ring,
Mhm.
and everybody has to work around it. There's 9 men in this fucking cage around the ring. That's including the referee. There's no fucking room to do
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
except for punch and just like headlock or something. It's terrible. Just when you think this can't get any worse, a bunch of zombie orderlies come out with a stretcher and they just sit by the fucking ramp. And I'm like, why are they zombies? Why are they orderly zombies? I don't get it. Like, why are they zombie orderly?
Maybe it's a zombie hospital then. The-
It's so like
It's
sad
WCW.
that I'm laughing. I'm just laughing watching this thing. It's so comical. It just keeps getting like a more absurd as it's
Yeah.
going on. Anyways, Cactus Jack, he fucking there's a, Sting took part of the wooden casket and then he just like launched it into Cactus Jack's head, so he's bleeding and stuff. And as he's getting up from the floor, fucking Scott Steiner just like wham hits him over the head with a candlestick from the ring really hard. I fucking laughed at that. Abdul the Butcher's bleeding, Sting's bleeding, Cactus Jack's bleeding, everybody's bleeding. Cactus starts Cactus Jack. So the way you're supposed to win is you're supposed to strap the person, your opponent, into the chair, but then there's a switch
Mhm.
hanging from the cage. And Cactus starts climbing the side of the cage as the switch is on because the switch had fallen and he's trying to put it back up because the switch fell, so the
Yeah,
electric chair
it's
is
supposed to be
going
it's
up.
big dramatic, you're supposed to hit it, then yeah, but the switch is broken, yes. Mhm.
Yeah, it's supposed to be up and it's already down.
Mhm.
So Cactus goes there, climbs it. He has the wherewithal to be like, dude, the switch has to go up. So he climbs the cage, pushes it back up. But while he's doing that, Sting attacks Cactus, and the motion of the attack makes the fucking switch fall down right away. And you see Cactus like look at it while he's pretending to get punched by Sting. You can see you can see him just looking at the switch going like, motherfucker, I just put this thing up. And
Yeah.
just keep up. And you see they do a wide shot and you see a referee from the outside of the cage climb the cage and he's holding up the switch. And then somebody gives him some tape and he fucking tapes the fucking it's so bad. I feel like there's people in the audience who are seeing this as well. They're probably laughing. It's just so absurd. Finally, Abdullah Butcher he puts Rick Steiner into he sits Rick Steiner down on the chair electric chair of torture, and Cactus Jack once again climbs the side of the cage with the switches on, and he's looking, and all he has to do in character wise is like wait for Abdul to like strap him in and put the fucking helmet
Mhm.
on Rick Steiner, and then he's got to drop the switch and they electrocute Rick Steiner and they win. But because this is what they're gonna have to do, Cactus has to like look away and he has to look at the audience for an ungodly amount of time for Rick Steiner to outpower Abdul the Butcher, sit Abdul the Butcher down, strap both his arms in, and then put the fucking helmet on his head. And during this whole time, Cactus is just looking at the audience and he's every once in a while kind of like glance, is it time yet? And then finally, Cactus pulls the switch, not realizing that Rick Steiner had switched places with Abdul the Butcher. Fireworks go off, kind of like a death match. Think like the death match that AEW did, but just way better.
Yeah.
And then, like there's smoke in there, like Abdul the Butcher's shaking like he's getting electrocuted. And they do a close up, which they should not have done because you can see that the helmet is nowhere near his fucking head.
Nope.
And that's it. That's the match. Abdul the Butcher, he's like supposed to be dead, and Cactus Jack comes up to him, and Abdullah no cells dying. He wakes right up, headbutts Cactus Jack, and it beats on the orderlies. And that is how this first match ends. Give me your thoughts, man, on this first match.
I actually liked it. This is my second time seeing this match. I know this match is bad. I know it's ridiculous, but you know what? I like it more than a lot of like the death matches I've seen. I like it more than a lot of the Nick Gage matches I've seen. It's just completely ridiculous pro wrestling. Is it bad? Is it stupid? Yes, but it's kind of like watching an Ed Wood film. It's like this is so bad it becomes good again, and it's just like fun wrestling carnage to me. Everyone else I know people act like this match is like an affront against Jesus, but I like it. Like I could watch a match like this 20 times. I could watch this match every month over the shit I see in game changing wrestling.
So I am gonna agree with you.
Yeah.
This, in my opinion, this Chamber of Horrors is a must-watch if you are a wrestling fan. If you're a wrestling fan, you call yourself a wrestling fan, this is a must-watch. It's so bad, it's good. You know what this is equivalent to for me? It's like watching Shockmaster fall. It's so funny. It's so absurd. You can't call yourself a you can't call yourself a wrestling fan without having seen this match, in my opinion. You know, like you need to know the absolute best and the absolute worst. This is so fucking funny. You have to watch.
I also think this match. I also think this is not as ridiculous or as insulting to the intelligence as the Black Scorpion stuff from a year ago. Like Ric Flair wrestling like a robot is more insulting to me than this match, because like on paper, if you pitch this to me, like how old was I as a 10-year-old, I would be like, yeah, it sounds like a really good idea. Actually, I would want to see that. So like they're trying something that's kind of fun. It's just they didn't have the wherewithal how to do it right. I'll tell you this: if they announce that at Survivor Series they're going to redo this match, they're going to be a war game match, and they're going to redo this match with like the Bloodline, I would be seated. I would be ready. I would want to see this match again. I don't know. To me, I feel like some of these like death matches I see like where like they're breaking light tubes over like women's heads. Like you got this big fat like Dan Moffat. Is that his name? What's the guy's name?
Dan Moffat.
What's the big fat guy's name? Dan Maff. What's his name?
Dan Moff.
Yeah, Dan Moff. Like Dan Moff breaking fucking light tubes over like that little Asian girl's head, and then she like power bombs him. I think that's way more insulting and bullshit than this match. So
I don't know if Dan Moff did that, but I believe you. Yeah, I think
Dan Moff has had death matches with women.
Yeah, this is it's like watching one of those really badly made movies. Like you just gotta watch it, guys. Like it's so like I'm telling you right now, this is a must watch.
Yeah.
Like if you never watch this match, I don't want to hear your opinions about wrestling. You know? Like you don't know, like I just don't want to hear it.
And if you're like a Dave Meltzer and you're sitting there 91 being like, this is negative 27 stars, whatever, you're a fucking idiot. Like you don't really know what makes wrestling fun. I'm sorry. Like not everything. I don't need like if everyone. Oh, we're seeing it on AEW. If every match was catered to what Dave Meltzer thinks is good wrestling, the show would be boring and unwatchable, which is what AEW has become. So this was great. This was good fun.
This was given negative -2 stars from Dave Meltzer, which is still less stars than Hogan versus Andre from WrestleMania 3. If you guys know, if you guys love Dave Meltzer, by the way, some of you probably do. You guys worship him. Dave Meltzer gave Andre versus Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 3 -4 stars. That's what he gave it. He refuses to change it, by the way. He stands by it. I dare you to watch that match, and then you fucking tell me that you still think that guy's a genius.
So I was listening to Tony Schiavone and Conrad's podcast. They were talking about what Dave Meltzer gave that match. And Conrad finally admitted, I never heard him admit it on the air that Dave Meltzer has a bias against WWE. He finally admitted it. And then Tony Schiavone said, well, let me ask you a question. Isn't the purpose of wrestling to get the audience excited and invested and like on their feet? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, well, there's like whatever the number is, they're on their feet and they're excited. So to me, this is at the very least a 2 to 3 star match. At the very least, people are on the edge of their seat right now. And that to me, like if tonight on NXT a guy has another guy in a headlock and people are going ballistic cheering the headlock, then I would say they're having a really great match. If everyone is like, this is the best headlock I've ever seen, this whole thing based like Meltzer, how many moves you do. So like I would ask Meltzer, like, so if Hogan did a moonsault on Andre the Giant, would that make it a 3-star match? Would that have fixed the match? Like, it's just stupid. And the same thing with this match. Like, this match is fun, and I don't need fucking Vader to beat. I don't know. It's fun. I like this match. I don't know.
I would say, it's.
He doesn't like fun. He doesn't like fun.
He doesn't like. He doesn't like anything.
He doesn't like anything.
Stupid.
The way the wrestling he likes is fucking boring as fuck. He doesn't understand that right after you have Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, you need to have Men on a Mission rap. He doesn't understand that there's a balance to the whole show.
I thought this for many years, and I still stand by this. I don't think he gets what wrestling is.
No.
I don't think he does. Yeah,
no.
I think he thinks he does. He really doesn't know what wrestling is. I really don't think he would go on a rant. I listened to recently, and he went on a rant about how WBF is catering to the Saudis because they get the most money from them. And I'm like, but that's the point.
Yeah.
And like I want to be like, and your point is what? Because that's exactly what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get all this money, right? Like that's the whole point. It's a business. You're trying to make money, but whatever. Fuck it, man. But here, we're gonna go from one idiot to another. Eric Bischoff is there. He's dressed like Dracula. And Missy Hyatt is dressed up like a Vegas showgirl. And they're in the back and they're trying to figure out who the Halloween Phantom is. Is the Halloween Phantom going to be coming tonight? And they're going to try to figure out who it is. And as they're talking, the Young Pistols come out, the Smoking Gun Pistols. And they come out and they challenge the Patriots to a match later. I just noticed the Pistols don't have a match in this card, right?
No, I think they're setting up like something for their weekly show. I guess they were trying to build a feud between the Patriots.
Oh, that's too bad because I actually like this tag team. That's too bad. I just realized that.
I would have rather seen the Pistols than the Patriots later on.
Yeah, definitely. That was the one thing about this show, Halloween Havoc. I saw a lot of talent or wrestlers that I haven't seen in WCW before the pay-per-view, so that we're leading up to it, So it was like the first time appearances, We go to match number 2. The Creatures, basically a masked tag team like the Conquistadors, because Halloween they're called the Creatures, versus Big Josh and PN News. Big Josh, he used to come out with a bear, and then he replaced it with a bunch of hoes. And now he's replaced the hoes with PN News. God, this keeps getting worse. They just keep giving him less and less. Everything that made this guy over. Like if he came,
I don't think he was ever over. I think that's a little bit of a.
Dude, if he kept coming out with the bear, he would have stayed over. I'm telling you, brother.
I think he was.
The Garden would have been sold out.
It is funny how he doesn't look that big as Doink, and he actually is a big fucking dude.
Yeah. I think you know why? Because WWE had so many big fucking dudes. Hogan is humongous.
Well, I also think there was a. I wouldn't be surprised if when people asked for work, they told people to slim down because of the steroid case. So I wouldn't be surprised if when he met with Vince was like, ease off the juice and you can come in as Doink.
Yeah, I mean, when he was wrestling as Doink, he was pretty out of shape. He had a gut and everything.
Yeah, well, that's what they do.
Yeah,
he's still, dude. He's so good as Doink. That's that should have been like an Undertaker level gimmick if he had his like he should have still been Doink in 2003, like wrestling.
Well, if you watch the dark side about him,
the
only person who really killed that gimmick was him because he had all sorts of drug problems.
Yeah.
He was even right before he died, he was making a comeback, by the way. And if he kept doing well, I wouldn't have been surprised if they did bring it back.
I would bring it. I would pitch to someone like Johnny Gargano or someone like who's a really good wrestler like Timothy Thatcher to bring Doink back because that whole idea of this clown who actually is a fucking excellent wrestler and he's like just fucking with you by dressing like a clown, but he's actually like a Benoit level wrestler. I think that's a fucking great gimmick. And I think that's where if I was like Nick Khan, I'd be like, we got to bring back Doink. And you could just merchandise the shit out of him if he gets over. Plus, you can do this whole like.
You know why? Because when you have people like a Dante Chen, when you have people like, I I don't know. I'm trying to think of a what do you call it? No offense to these guys, but like a Julius Creed. Those names don't equal money.
Yeah.
Caden Catanzaro. Those I just like when I think about these JC Jane, I'm like looking at these people, I'm like, I don't none of their names scream wrestler to me. All of them are just their gimmicks are just like, I'm a really good wrestler. I'm gonna work my way up. That's all their gimmicks. Why don't you just go like, hey, we already own the licenses to like Doink the Clown. You're gonna give them a fucking fake name anyway because you don't want them to make money off
Yeah.
their real names or whatever. Might as well just like why is Brian Pillman Jr. Lexus King? I would have been like, guess what? You're gonna be Doink because
Yeah.
we're gonna own we own the gimmick and we want to use Doink. You're gonna be
Well,
Doink.
I don't think he's good. I agree. Julius, someone who's a really good wrestler should be Doink. Like that's the key. And then you make Doink like kind of like the Joaquin Phoenix Joker or like the villain from the movie Terrifier. You make it like a little bit edgier, dude. I think
Mhm.
it'd be over huge. It's such a good gimmick, and you could redo
I
it.
wouldn't even say they don't even need to be good wrestlers because these gimmicks will help them.
Well, but
Because
see,
right now, because a lot of these guys in NXT, because they don't have any gimmicks, you really see how fucking green they are,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But if you put a fucking gimmick on them and just go like, don't worry about doing these crazy flips, just like wrestle like in the gimmick, it will hide their fucking faults. This is why, like I was saying, one of these fucking plain name female wrestlers should be like Max Moon. Just put her under a mask and say, Max can be a female name. You're Max Moon. You're gonna just fucking be like, you could do all the fucking flips you want. You're Max Moon,
Yeah,
and
I
it'll
think
be
like, and it's different. And I think because so many people were Doink, and the same with Max Moon, different people were Max Moon. It's almost like it's kind of like, hey, like how like Miles Morales and Peter Parker are Spider Man.
something.
Multiple people can be Doink. Multiple people can be other characters like that you really didn't, and you really can't do it with Undertaker or Kane. But with some of these characters that you kept changing up who it was, I even think you could do multiple demolitions.
And here's
Like
the thing. This is not even a brand new idea. This has been an idea that's been used in wrestling.
in
You don't
Japan.
believe me? Look at New Japan Pro Wrestling. They have multiple black tigers, and multiple tiger masks. And you know
Yeah.
what? This is what you do. You take somebody who has absolutely nothing, like they got no gimmick, they're just fucking vanilla. You go, you're putting you under this mask, but when you are ready, when you actually figured yourself out, we're gonna take the mask off you and we're gonna give it to somebody else, and you can just go be who you are. That's what happened to Misawa. That's what happened to fucking uh, uh, uh Koji. I forgot his fucking name. Kanemaru, I think. No, yeah.
But
Anyway, the
yeah,
guy, the the Koji clutch guy.
but I think if
Um,
they did something like this, where like you had like evenly, let's say just Mankind. If you had Mick Foley hand a Mankind mask to a different type of wrestler, and then he was Mankind, and you did like a Peter Parker and Miles Morales. These are two different guys, but they're gonna, and it got over. I think that you opened up decades of money that you can make off these characters that you own. Like, just I don't know, but it's something to experiment with. It's definitely something to experiment with. And I think
yeah,
Doink's
and I think like okay, like right now in WBF they have that what's her fucking name? Kaden Carter. She's so fucking plain, so fucking boring.
yeah, make her Max Moon.
Dude, I would say they own the rights to Battle Cat. Remember Battle Cat?
Yeah.
I would just be like, dude, Battle Cat's kind of goofy, but it's better than Caden Carter. Like, it's better than Caden Carter. We're gonna make you a female Battle Cat. We're gonna revamp the costume so maybe it looks something like a black cat from the comic books or some shit like that. And it will fucking get over, you know? Like, I
Um
would do that. I would just do something like that.
yeah, so now we have this match, PN News and Big Josh versus the Creatures. So what do you
Yeah.
think about
Oh, yeah. We went on with friend. By the way, PN News is just like a fat. Think about it. He's like a fat John Cena. He's like a really fat rapper in the '80s. He does an '80s style rap, um, and it ends with "Yo baby, yo baby, yo," and it sounds really shitty, but people fucking love it. They show people in the audience, they love it.
it? Mhm.
They they build this guy from Motown, which is really funny because I'm like, rap doesn't have anything to do with Motown, but all right. He's from Motown. They show a member in the audience. Her name is Christine Volver. She is the WCW magazine PN News rap contest winner. So that means she wrote the rap that he fucking sang. I tried to find her on Facebook and I found this lady, and it looks like it's this person. I messaged her, but she never got back to me. I wanted to ask her a
Right.
whole bunch of questions.
Right,
Yeah,
like
like
you're
did you
listening to him.
write it? How shitty was Chamber of Horrors when you see it live? Like, just like all these questions. But anyways, this is basically a 5 minute squash match. There's no offense from the creatures, pretty much. PN News, he does a top rope splash, which is called the Rat Master Splash, for the win. What did you think about this squash match?
I mean, it was just. I mean, I respect the fact that they're trying to do something with the Halloween gimmick because I feel like the previous shows they didn't do a lot with it. So I
Mhm.
respect that, but also like it's a waste of time. I don't like Big Josh or PN News, and the creatures look stupid. So it felt very low rate wrestling to me, this match. So I didn't like this match.
Yeah, it's a squash match that's like, come on, like this should be on TV, not like on a show that people are paying a lot of money for. We're gonna go to match number three though. This match was actually they make up for this with match number three. Beautiful Bobby Eaton versus Terrence Taylor of the York Foundation with Alexandra York and a brand new computer. It's got a fucking like I don't know, a lid. Bobby Eaton gets the upper hand, and Terry Taylor has to go outside and get pointers from the computer. I fucking love this game.
Mhm.
He doesn't let the camera see what he's looking at. Bobby Eaton does a top rope fucking knee drop onto Terrence Taylor's throat from the fucking top to the ramp. He's the only guy who keeps doing this move off the top to the ramp. But Bobby Eaton also takes a gut wrench power bomb on the ramp from Terrence Taylor. So this is a good match. A lot of back and forth, good back and forth, and then ultimately Bobby Eaton hits the Alabama Jam top rope leg drop for the win. And what I thought was the match of the night. This was a very good match.
Well, I thought it was match of the night. I didn't think it was match of the night, but I thought it was very, very good. And I'll tell you, the thing about Terrence Taylor, is unlike someone that we're going to get to. He actually follows the gimmick very well. It was a really good match between two veterans. I didn't realize Terry Taylor's already almost 40 here. So
Really?
he's almost 70. He's still, he's in NXT right now as a trainer. He's almost 70. So he was almost 40 here. So he's like 36 or something. So, but he was still bringing it. But I always thought he was like younger than that at this point, but he's
Yeah,
not.
me too. I thought he was young. I didn't realize he was like almost 40, but he is a good wrestler. I think I've always enjoyed his wrestling. He
He's
wasn't gonna like, he's one of those guys, like, if you give him the right opponent, he'll have like a really good match,
he's doing
you
really
know?
good in the York Foundation. He's like
Yes.
he's trying to make it work, which is more than I
Yeah.
can say for some other people.
Yes, which we will get to.
Mhm.
um, what do you call it? We're gonna go to match number four. It is Jimmy Jam Garvin with a injured Michael Hayes versus Johnny B. Bad, who comes out with Teddy Theater Long. Johnny B. Bad has like a really fucking long entrance because every like 2 steps he has to stop for these fucking like streamers to fucking come out and shit. And some of it's slow. He's even got a gun and he's supposed to do these wings and he's supposed to shoot one out.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
all
yeah.
clunky. It's such a waste of goddamn time. Um, this is the best shape I've ever seen Jimmy Jam Garvin. He's like in great shape in this match.
Mhm.
He's got like no gut. He's got abs for once.
Wow.
His arms look huge. He's got traps.
He's got
Um,
Scott Hall steroids.
yeah, because he's usually was kind of flabby. This is the first time I'm seeing him not flabby. Um, it's too bad too, because if he had looked like this even earlier, like 5 years earlier, I think he could have been something
Mhm.
more than just a tag team guy. Johnny B. Bad, he ultimately, by the way, in this match, he does like a top rope sunset flip, like cover, but it's like the guy's really too far away and it just looks bad. But whatever. It is what it is. Jimmy Jam hits a DDT, his finisher, but Teddy Long distracts the referee for Johnny B. Bad to hit his left hook punch for the win. What did you think about this match? Jimmy Jam versus Johnny B. Bad.
It was all right. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I just can't with the Freebirds. I don't know. It's kind of like I'm just kind of over them. And Johnny B. Bad is just so stupid. It was all right. It was all right though for these two guys. It wasn't the best. It was all right.
I think you don't like it because you don't like that Johnny B. Bad's black.
No. Well, yeah, I hate black people, especially white people pretend that they're black people. I don't like white people pretend they're black people, actually. I'm racist against those white. No, it's just I can't I'm ready.
I'm just joking. Yeah.
I'm ready for a WCW without the Freebirds. I am ready. I feel like the show feels modern, and it feels like they're modern for 91. And then these idiots walk out, and I feel like we're right back in 85, like a high school gym. There's nothing money about the Freebirds.
Yeah, it's kind of like you know what it's like. I hate to say this. I felt that way about the Four Horsemen too. It's like
Yeah.
one of those stables that it's like, dude, like you got to wrap it up. It's too old now.
Yeah.
You know what's like that now? The Bullet Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
I
you know
wish
what's like that now? Also, I hate to say New Day. New Day came out. I
Yeah.
was awake for the New Day's entrance, and they gotta break up. They gotta do something different. It's over. It's
Yeah.
been over for like 4 years.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes like a stable can overstay their welcome. If anything, you know, Jay White's stable. I just wish they had a different name because
Yeah, I don't know why they call Bullet Club Gold.
yeah, I don't even know why it's called that. It's just like just just call it something else because you guys are a good stable and it has nothing to do with the actual Bullet Club. So just like go away from it. But
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, I understand how you feel about the Freebirds. Anyway, we're gonna go back to the back, and Missy Hyatt, she's looking for the Halloween Phantom, and she grabs Bobby Eaton, and she goes, "Tell me who the Phantom is. Tell me where it is." And he's got a pumpkin one, and he goes, "Phantom, I just want a match. I'm gonna go celebrate." And I'm like, "You gonna celebrate with a pumpkin?"
He's gonna go carving, I guess, in the back. They're gonna have
I thought
him
he
and
was
Big Josh
gonna.
are gonna have a pumpkin carving party.
Oh, I thought he was gonna fuck it too.
They also have he's from Alabama. He might be fucking.
Yeah, no, dude.
Oh.
I thought that's what he was gonna pumpkin because I'm gonna celebrate. I thought he was gonna go fuck it or something. Match number 5. It is for the TV title. We got Stunning Steve Austin, the TV champion, with Lady Blossom, versus Dustin Rhodes, who has a jacket on that looks very similar to Rocky Mayavia's jacket. Remember when he was The Rock? It has like a bull, like a giant bull face in the back. I actually thought it was a pretty cool jacket. You should get that jacket if you can.
If they put a reprint, I will.
They were talking about Dustin Rhodes in this. Dustin Rhodes in this match in 1991, he is 21 years old. He started wrestling at 1988. So he's only been wrestling at this point in this match about 4 years. And he's already really good.
This is a really good. Was my match of the night.
Okay, yeah, this is a very good match. Dustin gets beat on the outside and he's bleeding, and then Austin gets busted open as well. It's a good back and forth, but it ends up with a time limit draw right when Dustin is about to get the 3 count, and they're doing the thing where they're counting the finish, and the time runs out right before the 3. And you do see Austin get his shoulder up anyways, but I still would say that's a very good finish. They still did. This was, in my opinion, the second best match. This is a very good match as well.
This was such a good match. And you know what? You know what really impressed me about this match? And I think it's what's gonna be one of the real like treats of us doing this is watching Steve Austin evolve. Is that this guy, they should have made this guy the new Ric Flair as soon as he left. He is such a great technical wrestler. He is so fucking smart in the ring already, and I think he's only 26 at the time. He's like on top of his, or maybe no, because he was 30. Yeah, he's 38 in 2000. Yeah, he's 26. He's only 26, and this guy's only 21. These guys, this could have been like the new Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes for a new generation, and not lose a beat. People would have bought it. And the fact that Steve Austin is so good at being a technical wrestler, and then he switches to become like this brawling lunatic, I think I would say to people like Hangman Adam Page, I would say to people, because I feel like now wrestlers, they just get stuck in what they're doing. They don't like evolve, And I would say to a lot of these guys, look at how Austin evolved. And he was always a great wrestler. But look how he evolved his character. He didn't just stay Stunning Steve Austin until he went nowhere. and I already feel like he's already the complete package, but it's a different package than Stone Cold Steve Austin. He already should be the guy, and they don't make him the guy, which was their fatal flaw, I think.
I would say in this match, yeah, you see how good he is, but I don't think he's all put together yet. You know, he's got shitty tights on. His tights were shitty looking.
Mm-hmm.
His
But that's
gimmick
when you give like, well, there's no Vince McMahon. That's when you somebody in the back gives him the touch to make him the guy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is like where when you see someone,
Mm-hmm.
as the cliche goes, a diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
Like there's clearly a diamond in there. You just gotta fucking clean it out, right? And when I watch this match, because we have the hindsight of knowing what he's gonna become.
Yeah.
But when you're watching it, you're like, oh my god, you could see it even back then.
You
In
know,
1991, you could see it was there. It's just that there's all this. It's not 100% there.
Yeah.
He just needed that one. Man, if WCW just really had, man, it's so weird because wasn't Dusty in charge?
Yeah, he could have been the guy he could have been the guy as a Ric Flair style champion. He still could have been the guy. He could have been just as big as Stone Cold Steve Austin being, but like they didn't.
But I'm saying,
No,
like,
but to
wasn't
be honest
Dusty
with
in
you,
charge
when
right
I was
now?
a kid, I had no interest in this guy as a kid. Like to me, he looked like vanilla ice cream. You know, like I just didn't give a shit. But I wasn't ordering the pay-per-views. I wasn't watching the way I'm watching now. And when you watch the way I watch now, yes, this was clearly the guy they should have built around.
Yeah. Wrestling wise, he's there. Gimmick wise, this gimmick is just not there. It looks it just looks like a shitty version of Ric Flair, right? Coming out with the robe, right? Like everybody else does. His fucking tights don't even match his robe. And like, it's just like, it's there. Like, he's not 100% ready yet, but this is a very good match. I think I still like the Terry Taylor match better. I think part of the reason why is because that one actually has a finish. This one
You don't like these fuck finishes.
Yeah, I don't like draws and shit like that. And
I didn't mind it because I know they're trying to keep both guys strong. So
yeah, but I will say this: both guys, like for as young as they are and for as little experience as they have, they both up to this point. I would have fucking made, if I was in charge, I would have made a call. Like, we got to go younger and we're going to start elevating these guys.
After this match,
TV title technically is still kind of elevating, I guess, right?
Yeah. The pitch Bruce Pritchard had. The pitch that Bruce Pritchard had was Dustin. He wanted Hogan versus Dustin Rhodes at WrestleMania 9. And you pushed Dustin as your top heel. And Hogan said no, and Dustin wouldn't make the jump. But I see why Pritchard thought that. I see why Pritchard saw a big future for him. Because I think the one thing that hurt him more than anything was being Dusty Rhodes' son. Because I think people, and me included as a young goots, as a young kid, we went into the matches and everything he did, like this is before he becomes Goldust. He's only getting this because of who his dad is. And you know what? That might have been true, but he's at 21, he's as good as anybody. And if I could go back in time, I'd say give him the fucking belt.
Okay. I kind of agree with you in that, but I'm gonna say there was another thing that actually held Dustin Rhodes back.
What?
His body.
That's true, but you know what? Dusty had a shitty body, and look where he became. So, I think if Dusty wasn't his dad, I think he would have been a way bigger star in WCW. I don't think he would have became Goldust.
Technically, he's there, and he's got the height. He's like 6'6", but he's got like Barry Windham body. You know?
I think, but you know what though? Like if you look at like the Dustin Cody saga, Dustin had to go through bullshit so Cody could become the guy. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Just like Martin Luther and Barack Obama. Yes, that was so poetic.
But yeah, this was a really fun match. I'm so glad we got a guy like for the next few years in WCW to kind of watch evolve in Steve Austin. This is going to be really fun, I think, watching him evolve.
So this is the 5th match. So far, 3 of the matches I've enjoyed.
Yeah.
You know? And one of them, it wasn't even that bad. So I'm like, so far I'm enjoying this pay-per-view.
And you know what? Here's the other thing you got to give them credit. They got all the big stars out of the way in the first match. And now the rest of the show is like the lesser stars, and I think I'm gonna. I don't think the audience was bored, and I wasn't bored. I like usually if you take out the big stars right away, the audience loses interest. But I think this was a great way to showcase the new people because you got Sting and the Steiners out of the way, and the show is still really good.
Very good point. Very good point. We get a promo for Starrcade 1991. It's called the Battle Bowl, the Lethal Lottery, which we will be eventually.
It's going to be in a few weeks when I get back from Cali. Yeah.
And
that show sounds dreadful. I've heard Conrad and Jim Ross cover it. It sounds awful. But
well, it was at this point where the show starts becoming dreadful. Right. We go to match number 6, Oz versus Bill Kazmaier, who comes out carrying a giant balloon that's supposed to look like the world, like he's Atlas carrying the world on his shoulders.
Oh, it's been official. Hey,
yep,
it's official. Sorry, I didn't mean to go. Hey, NXT is now going to be in the CW in October.
Where does NWA go?
They're right in the toilet, brother.
I mean NWA. Yeah, where does NWA go? Damn it!
They go right in the toilet. Breaking news on the pod. I know it's going to be out Friday, but we're recording this Tuesday. They're going to go right in the toilet. Okay, let's keep going back. Let's keep talking about this.
All right.
Sorry.
Yes, Oz, match number 6, Oz versus Bill Kazmaier. If you guys, that name sounds familiar to you guys, he is a former Strongest Man competitor, and I remember him from being actually the commentator in the 2000s for ESPN's World's Strongest Man competitions, which I used to watch.
Did he train? Maybe I'm wrong. He didn't train Mark Henry, right?
Bill Kazmaier? I don't think so, because I think Mark Henry trained. You mean as in the World's Strongest Man or wrestler?
Oh, I thought as a wrestler, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
No, because the Mark Henry trained with WWF.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right. They signed him and they started training. He was like a guy. It was like literally they pulled somebody off the street and just made them a wrestler. That's why it took so long.
They did that. Yeah. And you know what? It turned out great.
It was a
good investment. It was a good investment.
Good investment for Tony Khan. Yeah, he's really
good. Yeah, exactly. Bill Kazmaier, he's like really strong, but he's like a huge fucking dude. So he in this match, he does one thing that's really impressive. He does he skins the cat, which is like you're hanging from the top rope when you pull your whole fucking body weight back into the ring. You usually see small guys like, I don't know, like Rey Mysterio do this. This guy's 335 pounds, and he does this, which is fucking crazy. Anyways, he beats Oz with a torture rack, which is Lex Luger's finishing move.
Pretty impressive due to Kevin Nash.
Yeah, because Kevin Nash is a big guy as well. Kevin Nash is much taller than Bill Kazmaier, but Bill did that. What are your thoughts on Oz versus Bill Kazmaier?
I mean, Kevin Nash is totally not even trying to be Oz anymore.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's kind of a no. But I would have been like, why don't you try a little bit longer? Like, why don't you at least try? Like, Oz sucks. Yeah, because everyone across the board gave up on it right away. But then if you're gonna give up on it, then just don't do it. Or like, just don't do it. Call him Kevin Nash or call him, Buddy Flip. I don't know. Call him something, but don't call him.
Buddy.
What?
Buddy, no, I'm just saying, Buddy Flip.
I know. That name, I did nothing. I hope Buddy Flip's not. I'm not trying to insult you, Buddy Flip, but you're a great guy. I don't think. Imagine he's like, I'm gonna listen to this podcast. Anyway, but what I'm saying,
I was always nice to Ray. What the fuck?
No, I'm not. Buddy, you're an amazing human being. It's not an insult. But I'm just saying, it's like, if you're gonna keep being Oz, can you act like Oz? I think it could have worked if they at least tried a little bit. But the last few times I've seen him as Oz, he's just almost rolling his eyes that he's Oz, and it's like, oh yeah, that is not going to work. If Undertaker, like we're going to review Survivor Series 91. If the Survivor Series 91, Undertaker's just walking out normal and being like, look at this stupid hat. Yeah, it wouldn't work anymore because he just gave up on it. But you have to keep doing it. I'm sure there's like moments in 90 where Undertaker's like, is this really going to keep working? And then it did. And now it's 30 years later.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. He should have, even if everybody else is giving up on it, he should really still give 110%.
Yeah. If you tell me it's stupid, it's going to be stupid. I think there was something with Oz.
Yeah, I mean, he came out with different types too, not neon green. He came out black, I believe, now. So it's getting better, but yeah, it's just like he's not in it. He's also getting washed. They're not booking him right, so I can see why he's not into it.
It's almost like they're blaming him for this dumb idea they have.
if Undertaker, if they started booking him like weak, or like, oh, you're gonna start jobbing to like new guys, maybe then we would have seen him fucking just rolling his eyes with this fucking oh stupid
But
ass.
you know what? You know what it is then? It's like if you're gonna do something as weird and crazy as Oz, Vince is not gonna make this guy Undertaker unless he's gonna go 110%. And if he like didn't really believe in the Undertaker character, he wasn't gonna make this guy Undertaker. So that's what I would say. Like, and I would say this to like Tony Khan, Scott D'Amore. If you're gonna do it in completely insane gimmick, you have to commit to it. You can't be like 2 weeks in, this is fucking stupid. You have to, if you think it's fucking stupid, then don't do it. You have to commit to Oz for at least 6 months. I mean, really commit to it. And you know what? Maybe if you
You know
committed
who
to
commits? NWA with their fucking cocaine. They were like, you know what? This is not stupid. We're gonna commit to this cocaine bit.
That's my thing. It's like Vince committed to Undertaker. If Undertaker like didn't get over and beat Hogan, he might have been like, it's a wrap. I tried, but he committed a year. I didn't think Undertaker. The reason why I never saw next week's show is I didn't think he was ready I didn't think he was ready for a match with Hogan. And then when he beat Hogan, I thought that was ridiculous. But Vince was proven right because the guy lasted 30 years because he believed in the guy more than me at 10 years old. I didn't buy it yet. He did, and he proved me wrong.
Well, in this case, wouldn't you say it's technically? I mean, they're not booking Oz strong. They're booking him
They're
weak. He's
not because
job,
they've already
right?
decided stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm saying is the people are already decided it's stupid. So I don't really blame Kevin
Oh
Nash
no,
for
I don't
thinking.
blame Kevin Nash either. But what I'm
Yeah,
saying is, then they shouldn't have done it
yeah,
because they
of course. But this is
obviously,
WCW. This is their wishy-washy bullshit.
yeah,
You know? But
obviously
you know what? You
everyone.
can say the same thing about WWF and stuff like the Red Rooster. They gave up on it first before he did.
Well, I mean, like,
Hey, why did they should have
match.
went all the way with Gobbledygooker? They should have went all the way, bro.
Well,
They
that
should have.
he was supposed to be like their mascot. He was supposed to be like their Mr. Matt. So
They should have went all.
they should
They
have
should.
gobbledygooker. They should have
Who
got.
else? What other shitty gimmicks they have? They should have went all the way with Battle Cat, bro. They should have went all the way.
All right, but two Battle Cat. He never was on pay per view. Kevin Nash keeps getting on pay per views, and they're making him look dumber and dumber. And then they wonder why they went to.
They should have pushed Oz the way they fucking pushed El Gigante because
Yes,
they really fucking tried with El Gigante. Really
Oz.
tried.
They should have tried. Let me tell you something. They should have tried what Oz. Like they tried El Gigante. Everything would have been different. Everything. Make El Gigante Oz.
Like, yeah, you guys have no idea. WCW really fucking tried. This guy's on every pay-per-view. He squashes the shit out of people. El Gigante, they really tried. You can't blame anybody for that one except for El Gigante.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of new talent coming in, match number 7, we get our first look at Van Hammer. Comes out with his fucking guitar, electric guitar. He swings that around his neck, and he's got two for his entrance. He's got two guys on opposite ends, fucking jackhammering the fucking tombstones in his
I
entrance.
think they thought that meant that was heavy metal to have jackhammering because they're
like his name is Van Hammer, so I guess they jackhammer. That's what I think. It kind of comes off gay, in my opinion, but whatever, that's fine. It's Van Hammer versus Pretty Boy Doug Summers. Man, that name sounded so familiar. Didn't we watch like an NWA pay per view with like Doug Summers on it?
he's a never was
Yeah. Well, so this is supposed to be basically a squash match. Another one. It's a 1-minute squash match. It's really quick, and in that 1 minute, Doug Summers proceeds to botch and also kick out of fucking Van Hammer's slingshot suplex finisher. I was like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Like, can you just commit to like? I get it. You don't want to be a jobber. I get it. You're somebody who used to have potential, but right now your time has passed. Your body looks like shit. You have a fucking gut, and your job is to make this guy look like a fucking the next big thing. And you're kicking out of his finisher and stuff. This guy, like he made Eddie Kingston look like Chris Master.
This guy was an embarrassment.
And he just couldn't do the job well for Van Hammer. By the way, that slingshot suplex, he calls it the Hammer Rocks. And Tony Schiavone tells us this as soon as the match is over, and Tony Schiavone also calls him heavy metal at the end.
Yeah.
What do you
Uh,
think about Van Hammer, bro?
a lot of the old guys hate him. Arn Anderson shits on him in his podcast. A couple other people shit on him. Mick Foley has said, I think Van Hammer was good. No one gave him a chance. So I always go with. But here's the deal. All right, so you have this guy on pay per view. I get why you want to push the guy. The guy has a good look for 1991, right? And
Yeah.
also, like, it's kind of got this hair metal look that's still in. Grunge isn't big yet. And then this fucking old doofus is kicking on his finisher. Same thing. If you're gonna stand, the guy never got over. Yeah, if you're gonna stand the guy's way of getting over, he's not gonna get over. Which is what happened here. This old fucking doofus who never was gonna be anyone and never was anyone fucking has to make this guy look bad. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? They don't like. So yeah, this match is what it is. And Van Hammer, I don't. You can't blame him for this match not being good. It's the veterans' fault.
I don't think you could judge him based on this match. 100%.
No, we're gonna have plenty. Believe me, we're gonna have a lot of chances to judge this. This guy lasts until like 2000. So
yeah, we're gonna see him in the like dying days. Absolutely.
yeah, so we're gonna have a lot of time. But he never got over. Well, yeah, if you fucking old timers are not trying to are standing in the way of.
I'm actually glad those days are over. Where like an old timer who doesn't know his time's up, proceeds to like take liberties on the new guy that they have to put over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I
guarantee you, when he went to the back, the Arn Andersons and all these guys like defended him.
You think so? I think I feel like this guy probably got fired as soon as he came to the back. They were like, you know what? Guess what, Doug? We're never going to use you again. I think that's what happened because I don't think we're going to see this guy.
Yeah. So
all right. So Brian Pillman, he's cut the promo on Richard Morton of the York Foundation because this is going to be for the inaugural WCW Light Heavyweight Championship. This is going to be a precursor to the Cruiserweight title and all that stuff for the smaller guys. And then we get a promo from Alexandria York and Richard Morton about on Brian Pillman as well. It's going to lead right into our 8th match, the Light Heavyweight title, Flying Brian versus Richard Morton of the York Foundation with Alexandria York. Jim Ross during this match calls the ref cam the refa-cam. They already fucking forgot it's called the referee. And when Tony tries to correct them, they're just both like, yeah, whatever. They gave up on the fucking cam. They were like, whatever, man.
Mm-hmm.
So up until this point, we've only seen the fucking referee in the first match, the Chamber of Horrors, and we're gonna see it in this match. I will give Richard Morton credit. Remember, it's Ricky Morton doing this Alexandria York gimmick. He does go to the computer once, so he's already getting better at his gimmick than previously. So I'll give him that, right? They in this match, it's not a bad match, but they keep cutting to the fucking referee camera shot, and it makes me nauseous. It's so shaky, it's making me nauseous that I can't get into this match. And they even fucking do the finisher, which is the finish where fucking Pillman does a crossbody, the fucking referee, they use that to fucking do the 3 count. So it's just like, it's just too much. Anyway, Brian Pillman wins. The fucking camera shots kept me out of this match. I couldn't get into it because of that. What did you think?
Oh, I hated this match. And I'll tell you why I hate this match.
Yes, please.
Fucking guy. It's been how many months since the Great American Bash? It's been like, what, 3-4 months? And this fucking guy won't wear a fucking different outfit. He's still dressed.
It's not even just that. It's like maybe he's still got the fucking mullet and shit. And it's like, look at Terrence Taylor. He fucking ties his hair in a fucking pony. Like, he's like, all right, I can't just have flowing hair. I gotta tie it up. I gotta be like that pretty preppy boy, yuppie kind of guy, right?
Yeah.
Look, right? And he's doing it. Richard Morton, like I gave him credit for looking at the computer at like once, but that's once more than he's done before. So I'll give him that. But like, yeah, he's not changing anything. Not his tights, not his hair. Just, you know what? Just call me Richard Morton. and that will mean that I've changed.
Yeah, it's just like he doesn't do anything to like convey that he's a different person. It's just laziness and arrogance, and it took me out of the match, and I fucking hated it. And you know what? This is why I don't care. Everyone talks about great Ricky Morton is, and he was in the '80s. He was. The fact that like they're trying with you to give you, and you're just not changing anything. You're just a fucking lazy, arrogant piece of shit. Why can't you change your tights? Why? Well, I want to know. I want to know. Like, you can't fucking change. Like, and the fact that they just let him get away with it, like it's just like, bro, like, I feel like,
Why can't you cut off the mullet?
yeah, exactly. I feel like when someone like if you're Vince McMahon and you see shit like this, you have just written this guy off for eternity. And I know
Yeah.
Vince wasn't in charge, but like if you like, hey, yeah, this guy's now he's like doing like this IRS $1 Million Man ripoff gimmick, and he sees him like so for the last 3 months he's just had the mullet and the the happy rock and roll tights, yeah. Oh, and so he has even attempted to change. No, all right, this guy's an idiot. This guy's always gonna be like a fucking curtain jerker in a southern promotion. So
I'm
it's just
trying to think of, is there anybody in AEW who does this where they give him like a gimmick and he's just like, nah, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing? Like, is anybody who's done that?
I don't think there's been anybody, I don't think you're allowed. No, I think, but when people go like how those guys they single push, it didn't work. Yeah, it didn't work because they didn't make it work. I couldn't. The moment he still had those fucking tights on, bro, I couldn't even concentrate on the match. I was so annoyed. I was so annoyed at this guy not even fucking trying. He's not even fucking trying, man.
You know what it's like? It's like imagine if like they were like, Bradshaw, we want to call you like John Layfield, and he's like, nah, but I'm still gonna come out with the acolytes tights.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's like, no, can you just get like change up your whole thing? And that's what you're supposed to do. Like, dude, like when they told LA Knight that you're
I mean,
coming out as
Max
this guy
Dupree.
named Max Dupree, and he changed everything about himself. Look at Robert Stone. He used to be Robbie E. He used to be fucking a Jersey Shore guy, and now he plays like he was playing a buffoon manager for like a year. Remember when Shotzi ran him over with a fucking tank, that little tank, and he
Yeah,
sold for like $1 million because he's supposed to be like this nerdy guy. Like, you're supposed to you're acting. You have to remember that you're acting. It's like somebody going to like I don't know, like Brad Pitt and being like, Brad, we want you to play like the homeless guy, and he's like, no, I'm gonna just do the Fight Club guy.
mhm.
Like I'll do the lines, but I'm gonna do it like the Fight Club guy. Like, it's so bad. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, Richard Morton just kind of like, I'm surprised nobody talked to him about that either. Yeah, I'm surprised too.
I just to me
I would
like
have been
just
like,
it just
dude, dye your fucking hair. I would have been like, cut off the fucking mullet and dye it jet black,
let's just
right?
do something different.
Yes.
Let's give this a shot. Like it's just like yeah.
I'd
So
be
anyway,
like,
I didn't like this match.
Richard, your hair's gonna grow back, right?
No, baby, I can't do
You
it.
know who they should have given the York Foundation gimmick to? This
No,
next guy in match number 9, the Z-Man, because I feel like the Z-Man would have knocked it
he
out of
would
the
have done
park.
it good. Yes, he would have done it good. But
So it's
instead,
match
they didn't
number
like it for
9.
some reason. So
Yeah, because he's a probably a perv or something. Z-Man versus the Halloween Phantom. And as the Halloween Phantom's coming out, he's got a fucking they actually his name thing comes out and they actually call him the WCW Phantom. He wins with a neck breaker. It's a very quick squash. And after he wins with the neck breaker, Tony Schiavone says, "Oh, it's a lot like the Rude Awakening." But the guy never unmasked, and I was like, "Ugh, why did they fucking like telegraph it like
well,
that?"
because they knew they were going to reveal it that night. I
Yeah,
actually like this
but
squash because it's building
what?
a story. I actually like this match. Did you?
I like the. It's fine as a squash, but I think like the placement of something afterwards was misplaced. I
Yeah, I would
think
have had him. I would have had him unmasked as soon as the match was over.
yes, as soon as he hits that finisher, the Rude Awakening, everyone goes, "Oh shit!" And then he unmasks, and then you fucking bring Paulie out, and then you give a promo right here and then and there. I think it would have been more impactful.
Can I tell you
But
though?
yes,
He did a great job not wrestling like Rick Rude. He did a
Yes,
great
until the very end. Exactly.
until the
Yeah.
very end, and that's
Yeah.
what made that when he hits that move, it's like he's doing what Ric Flair couldn't do as a Black Scorpion. He
Yes, exactly.
wrestles and acts completely differently until he hits that move, and that's
Yeah, he's doing these goofy mannerisms and shit, and like, and that's why I think like at the end they should have like by the end everybody knows who the fuck it is because
yeah.
of the finisher. They
Mhm.
should have done it. But I will say this. So if you guys are wondering, Rick Rude. So I had to look this up. Supposedly, remember Rick Rude was in WWF. He left WWF. He got in an argument with Vince McMahon over SummerSlam payoff. He feel like he got ripped off because he was in the main event. His payoff wasn't good, and he asked for the money, and Vince said no. So he left the company, but he was technically under contract, so he had to wrestle on the Indies for like a year or something, and now he's finally out of the contract.
Mhm.
That's why he's showing up here. You guys are We're going to go to match number 10. It is a tag team titles match. The U.S. champions come out, and it is Todd Champion and Firebreaker Chip, the Patriots that the Pistols were challenging before, versus the Enforcers, who are the tag champions, Arn Anderson and Larry Zbyszko. So technically, this is a champions versus champion match. U.S. tag champions versus the WCW World Tag Team Champions. But not both titles are on the line. Arn Anderson hits a spine buster on Chip to win. When I watched this, the feeling I got was both these Patriot guys are very green, but it's not a bad match. They're green, but it's not like terrible. It's not like NXT green terrible. I thought Arn Anderson and Larry Zbyszko did pretty well as a team. They had good chemistry. What did you think about this tag team match?
When I saw the two guys they were wrestling, I was just like, oh god, I didn't really like it. I didn't really like it. It's just like a waste of a tag team title match. You know,
I could see that they're trying to like,
they're
they're
trying
getting a
to
lot of
build up the Patriots, yeah, or whoever.
yeah, yeah, they're trying to build up. They're getting. I will give WCW credit. They're getting a lot of young new guys because they realize they have to go with like guys with better bodies, younger guys. But some of them are flopping, And to Todd Champion and Firebreaker Chip, from what I can tell from my looking up, both these guys will never actually go anywhere after this, pretty
No,
much.
they go nowhere. That's the other thing. It's like it's just a waste of Arn Anderson. Larry Zbyszko, I don't give a shit about, but it's kind of a waste of Arn Anderson.
So Eric Bischoff is with Paulie Dangerously and Medusa.
Mm-hmm.
And Paulie cuts a promo. He goes, WCW decided I'm no longer going to be a host of one of these shows. Well, guess what? I'm fucking mad, and I'm going to take WCW out. And you know how I'm going to take WCW out? I'm going to take their stars out. And that's why I got Medusa. And I said, Medusa, find me someone who could take out their biggest star, Sting. And they bring out the Halloween Phantom, still masked. Even though at this point everybody kind of knows who it is because of the finisher from the match. This is why I thought the placement was kind of weird. And then he finally reveals himself to be Rick Rude, and the reaction to it is not that great because everyone already knew before he revealed himself. And then they start blasting music over his promo, so you can't even hear what he's saying. They finally decided, like, oh, turn off the fucking music. They turn it off, and then you can finally hear what he's saying. He cuts a good promo on Sting. What did you think?
I thought this was a great promo for Paul Dangerously. He's finally like showing some. They're done with I feel like he himself is done with this goofy like I'm gonna make fun of Mexicans. I'm like an idiot. It's like this is like he's like really trying to bring an edge to wrestling that he hasn't tried yet, and he's really unleashed. And I thought this was a really good promo. And Rick Rude, I thought was really good. I thought like this was like a mission statement that there's a new and he like kind of entwined what was going on with him behind the scenes where they don't want him to like be a broadcaster anymore. I thought it was pretty good.
Why did they not want him to be a broadcaster anymore?
He was having drama with he kind of got caught fudging his expense reports. He kind of got caught like lying about like what he was spending on food and stuff or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's Paulie Dangerously. What a fucking carny.
Hey, he's still in it.
Yeah. This guy, he was a fucking carny.
He basically, I mean, I mean, Vince McMahon's a non-factor, and Paul Heyman probably still has a say on the show. He basically outlasted Vince McMahon in his own fucking company twice.
Yeah, you got a
Twice.
pretty easy job. Yeah, I will say this though. I think it would have been better if they, placed
Yes,
this
right
in a
after.
different area. But it's fine. It is fine. It is what it is. I'm excited to see what this stable is going to do. Then we get a video package for the final main event with Ron Simmons. Ron Simmons video package of him looking at football things, doing football things, and talking to football coaches to prepare for his wrestling match. Doing all the football things, not doing any wrestling things for his wrestling match. We're going to go to our final match, the 11th match. 2 out of 3 falls, WCW World Title match. Ron Simmons comes out with Dusty Rhodes versus the champion Lex Luger with Harley Race and Mr. Hughes. Is a 2 out of 3 falls. So Lex Luger, he shows great intensity right away. He's got great intensity. But Ron Simmons hits a spine buster for the first fall right away. Lex Luger is now favoring his back the whole time in the second round. And he throws Ron Simmons outside. And that's when he starts getting the upper hand. Harley Race tries to trip up Ron Simmons, and Dusty Rhodes fucking hits him, and the fans are crazy for that. What happens though is Ron Simmons is like, he's on the ropes, and Lex Luger is a crossbody, and they're both supposed to go over, but fucking Harley Race kind of holds up Ron Simmons, so only Lex Luger goes over, and the ref calls for a DQ because throwing your opponent over the top rope is a DQ in WCW. So Lex Luger gets a DQ second fall. Lex is now bleeding in the face, and as he's being on Ron Simmons hulks up. And he's just like, doing the thing. He's beating the shit out of Lex Luger. But then on the outside, and Ron Simmons, because he did all that football preparation, decides to do a running fucking football tackle onto Lex Luger, but he hits the post instead. Lex Luger throws him to the ring and hits the attitude adjustment pile driver for the win. The point I got from this was that when you're getting ready for an important wrestling match, don't train like a football player. That's the point I got from this. It was all right. This is an okay match. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was a good match. I mean, I really see a lot at this point. I'm seeing a lot in Ron Simmons. I think they were right to push him. He definitely has a fire. He definitely has a fire here that he doesn't have in WWE when we see him later as an acolyte. Yeah, I like the match.
And he looked great. He looks great.
He looked great. Yeah, I like the match. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst. I mean, there were way worse matches on this show. I thought it was a pretty good main event.
You know how, like you said, when we started watching this, our opinions of a few people changed. It was like Honky Tonk Man, Brutus Beefcake, and Lex Luger, right? And Lex Luger's got a good intensity too in this match. And I gotta say, Lex is definitely better than I thought he was. 100%.
And same with Ron Simmons. I always thought Ron Simmons was like he's an okay hand, but I mean he's shown me a lot in this year, 91. And as Doom, I mean, I really think he just doesn't give a shit anymore when he goes to WWF because he's not.
Yeah. Also, at that point, he's a lot older too.
He stopped training.
By the time it's like the Acolytes, it's already way past Nation of Domination. He's fucking old.
But so all in all, I thought this was a good show. I mean, people shit on this show. I think you're wrong. I don't think you've actually seen the show. You actually sit down and watch the show. It's a lot better than some shows that have been critically acclaimed as WCW pay-per-views. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree. I think you should watch the Chamber of Terrors match if you are a wrestling fan. I think it's fun. Yeah.
All right. So the next 4 weeks. Next week, Survivor Series 91. I'm so excited. I've been waiting. I haven't been waiting. I've been avoiding it for 32 years. I'm actually probably going to watch it. I'm going to take my dog for a walk, and I'm going to watch it tonight. That's how I'm putting it off too long. It's the final classic pay-per-view. Also, King of the Ring 93. I don't consider that the classic era, but we'll get into that when we get to 93. I haven't seen that one either, but I'm excited. So I'm going to watch this as soon as I'm done here. 2 weeks this Tuesday in Texas, which has Hulk Hogan versus Undertaker. In 3 weeks, Starrcade 91, which is the Battle Bowl tournament. And then in 4 weeks, Royal Rumble 92. We're already in 92, and that's the Ric Flair Royal Rumble. So I'm excited for Survivor Series. That's the one I'm excited for. What about you?
Survivor Series because I would like to. I've never seen that match with Taker versus Hogan,
Yeah.
but eventually after that I'm probably gonna be excited for Royal Rumble. I love Royal Rumbles, even though
That's a really that's one of the best Royal Rumbles. So
yes, I've
that
seen
one
it
makes
probably
sense.
like 2-3 times already, but I'm ready to watch it again. I love
So
Royal Rumble.
so I'm throwing a curveball at you. In 5 weeks, I'm never tell you what's coming up in 5 weeks, but in 5 weeks, actually, we don't have a WWF or a WCW pay per view. In 5 weeks, we're gonna have the LPWA Super Ladies Showdown, and that's on YouTube. It is Dave McLean had a company between WoW and Glow. It was the LPWA. They had one pay per view, and we're gonna cover that.
I hope Peggy Lee Leathers.
I think they're all in it. It's 3 hours long on that, and that takes place right after Royal Rumble '92 and before Super Brawl 2. So we're gonna cover that in 5 weeks.
You know
So
what's weird? I can't believe that guy is still in wrestling.
you know what though? I think he keeps it mildly perverted. As long as you keep it mildly perverted, you can go far in life.
Yeah, like he's still relevant today. Like he
can't
just
go
recently,
full
the
pervert.
Wow's still there.
Yeah, you have to go just like I think he's kind of weird, but as long as like the bills come and you don't actually like expose yourself to a woman, I think you can just keep going.
Yeah, I think like don't go Joey Ryan. Just go like
Just don't go Joey
just
Ryan.
go JD Madonna. Yeah.
Just be like, like I like to hire young women and pay them, treat them with respect. When the deal is up, wish them the best in life and move on, and you can stay around. Because he's a strange guy, Dave McClain. But we'll talk. We got a lot to get to when we get to him. So if you're on, so remember, guys, we have a Patreon. I should have plugged at the beginning of the show. Goots Forever is the Patreon. For $1, you can support the podcast. For $5, you get the video version of this. We're also gonna have some other things on the $5 tire, which we'll be announcing after I get back from California. Please follow me on TikTok, Ray Goots Comedy. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, Ray Goots. And follow Andrew Lee, Andrew Son of Lee on Instagram. And we'll see you next week for Survivor Series 91. Thank you so much, Andrew Lee, bro.
Bye.
Bye.